history is full of dark chapters. Wars, plagues, famines, and disasters that reshaped civilizations and claimed millions of lives. But some years stand out as uniquely catastrophic, moments when everything seemed to go wrong at once. These are the worst years in human history. Number 10, Year 1816, the year without a summer. 1816 earns its spot not from war, but from weather. The eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia the previous year sent so much volcanic ash into the atmosphere that global temperatures plummeted. Snow fell in June across New England and Europe. Crops failed worldwide. Famine spread from Ireland to China. Riots broke out as grain prices skyrocketed. It was a reminder that nature doesn't need armies to devastate humanity. Number 9, Year 1520, the Smallpox Apocalypse. When Hernán Cortés and his men arrived in the Aztec Empire, they brought something far deadlier than steel swords, smallpox. In 1520, the disease exploded through Tenochtitlan, killing an estimated one-third to half of the population in a single year. The Aztec army crumbled. The empire collapsed. It was the beginning of a demographic catastrophe that would wipe out up to 90% of indigenous peoples in the Americas over the following century. Number 8, Year 1932, the depths of the Great Depression. By 1932, the Great Depression was no longer a stock market crash, it was a global nightmare. In the United States, unemployment hit 25%. Banks failed by the thousands. Breadlines stretched for blocks. In Germany, economic desperation fueled the rise of extremism. In the Soviet Union, Stalin's forced collectivization triggered a famine that killed millions in Ukraine. 1932 wasn't just an economic disaster. It was the year the modern world teetered on the edge of total collapse. Number 7, Year 541 AD, the Plague of Justinian. The year 541 marked the arrival of the first great pandemic in recorded history. The Plague of Justinian, likely bubonic plague, swept through the Byzantine Empire and beyond. Constantinople alone lost up to 40% of its population. Trade ground to a halt. The Byzantine army, the empire's backbone, was decimated. Some historians believe this plague permanently weakened the Eastern Roman Empire, preventing it from reconquering the Western Mediterranean and altering the course of European history for a millennium. Number 6, Year 1666, Fire, Plague, and War. For England, 1666 was the year everything burned. The Great Fire of London destroyed over 13,000 houses and left 100,000 people homeless. But that was just the climax. The year before, the Great Plague had killed 100,000 Londoners, roughly a quarter of the city's population. Meanwhile, England was fighting a costly and unpopular war against the Dutch. 1666 was a year of ashes, death, and national humiliation. Number 5, Year 536 AD, the darkest year. If 1816 was bad, 536 was apocalyptic. A mysterious volcanic eruption, possibly in Iceland, blanketed the northern hemisphere in a fog so thick that the sun was dimmed for 18 months. Temperatures dropped. Crops failed for years. Famine followed. Then, in 541, the plague arrived, likely triggered by the climate chaos of 536. Tree rings, ice cores, and historical records all confirm it. 536 was the beginning of the worst series of years humanity has ever endured. Number 4, Year 1348, the Black Death erupts. 1348 was the year the Black Death went from a distant rumor to a global nightmare. After arriving in Europe via Crimea in 1347, the plague exploded across the continent in 1348. Florence, Paris, London, and countless villages were devastated. Some estimates suggest 30% to 60% of Europe's population died within a few years. Society collapsed. The economy imploded. Faith in institutions shattered. The medieval world would never recover. Number 3, Year 1918, Pandemic and War. 1918 should have been a year of relief. Instead, it was a year of horror. World War I raged on, with the Spring Offensive and the 100 Days Offensive claiming hundreds of thousands of lives. But the real killer was silent. The Spanish flu pandemic peaked in 1918, infecting one-third of the world's population and killing an estimated 50 million people, far more than the war itself. Young, healthy adults dropped dead within hours. Hospitals overflowed. Mass graves were dug. 1918 was the year the world learned that modernity offered no protection against nature's fury. Number 2, year 1942, the Apex of Atrocity. By 1942, World War II had become the deadliest conflict in human history, and it was only getting worse. The Battle of Stalingrad began, a grinding meat grinder that would claim 2 million lives. The Holocaust accelerated into industrial genocide with the construction and operation of death camps like Auschwitz-Birkenau. The Bataan Death March, the siege of Leningrad, and the firebombing of cities all reached their peak. 1942 was the year humanity plumbed the absolute depths of cruelty and destruction. Number 1, year 1945, the year the world ended, twice. 1945 brought the end of World War II, but at an unimaginable cost. The Holocaust's full horror was revealed as Allied forces liberated concentration camps. The firebombing of Dresden and Tokyo killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. And then, in August, the atomic bombs fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, instantly killing over 100,000 people and ushering in the nuclear age. The war left 70 to 85 million dead. Empires collapsed. Europe lay in ruins. The world was forever changed, and forever scarred. OUTRO. These years remind us how fragile civilization truly is. Whether through plague, famine, war, or nature's indifference, humanity has faced annihilation again and again. And yet, we endure. We rebuild. We remember, so that we never repeat the darkest chapters of our past. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and let us know, what year do you think deserves a spot on this list?